I was the senior oversight counsel for 3 years for the House Financial Services Committee, during which I investigated terrorist financing, helped draft Title III of the Patriot Act, investigated Saddam Hussein's hidden assets around the world, etc. I saw the need for a single website, a gateway to the rest of the community, with multiple experts posting on counterterrorism policies and on terrorism events. We opened January 5th, 2005. You can find us at counterterrorismblog.org. Our contributing experts include Steve Emerson. We were the only site he posted on until he opened his own website last year. Doug Farah, Evan Coleman, David Gartenstein-Ross, Matt Levitt, before and after he left Treasury, and before and after he served at Treasury, and many others. One of those, by the way, is Waleed Faris, who I can tell you approached John Esposito in Georgetown when they got that money and offered a full range of Islamic studies, a number of possible courses, and was turned down flat. And it's the type of courses he's teaching at Catholic and elsewhere. So we've seen, and I've seen, both in running the blog and in the community and as a registered lobbyist and consultant, the impact of Saudi money. I mentioned one instance this morning, but the impact is far and wide and deep. It's an honor to share this panel with Frank Gaffney and Winfield and Sandra and everybody here in the endowment. I truly appreciate this. It's one thing, you know, for the Saudis to affect a think tank in Washington, and another thing to affect their business, and then it's another to affect a school that basically is in your home county. And so when action started happening on the Islamic Saudi Academy in May, really some real action for the first time in years, I decided to write on it and try and keep up on it. And I've written 7 posts on the Counterterrorism blog. I'm very happy you included Nina Shea's May 2006 op-ed in the Washington Post. Nina Shea is one of the heroes in this effort. She's been chasing this for a long time, first at Freedom House and now at the United States Committee for International Religious Freedom. And she noted in that op-ed 2.5 years ago that in the 8th grade students were being taught sentences such as, the apes are Jews, the people of the Sabbath, while the swine are the Christians, the infidels of the communion of Jesus. Well, let's fast forward to this year. In early May, it was time for the Islamic Saudi Academy to have its lease renewed by the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. And the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors on May 19th approved that lease, tried to do it quietly. It got picked up in the local press. And they did so while recognizing some kind of report that they had done, which had some problems with the curricula. But nevertheless, they renewed the lease. On June 11th, the International Religious Freedom Commission that Nina Shea is the director of released their new report, following up on the report 2 years ago, in which they really called for the State Department to close the school. And you know, that phrase, the apes are Jews, the people of the Sabbath, while the swine are the Christians, they are still teaching that as the Islamic Saudi Academy in Fairfax County. They're still teaching that. And in spite of all this, Fairfax County and the State Department have done nothing. On June 23rd, Fairfax County punted this issue back to the State Department. They took no leadership action. On June 24th, Congressman Frank Wolf wrote the first of his 3 letters to the State Department demanding some action and adding personal notes such as, the State Department hasn't been doing its duty. June 24th, on or about July 15th, on or about August 1st, Congressman Wolf has written to the State Department demanding a review. He finally asked CRS to do a review of the status of the Islamic Saudi Academy, and they found, as he noted in his last letter, the reason he wrote his last letter, that they are really completely a wholly owned subsidiary of the Saudi embassy. There's no difference whatsoever. And I talked to Congressman Wolf's office yesterday, and just as happened with the first 2 letters, there's no response from the State Department, none whatsoever. Okay? Now, back on June 23rd, I wrote a post on the Counterterrorism blog that got picked up in the press, and I ended up getting interviewed by Fox News over it later, that analyzed the most famous graduate of the Islamic Saudi Academy using the criteria established by the New York Police Department in its seminal study on homegrown radicalization. And here's the language from that study that I applied to Ahmed Omar Abu Ali, the 1999 valedictorian. He was that good. The 1999 valedictorian of the Islamic Saudi Academy, convicted of terrorist offenses, convicted of conspiring to kill President Bush. And I must say, he got around, because when he went overseas to Saudi Arabia, he hooked up with some of the best, or worst, okay, depending on your point of view, terrorists in the world. Some of the LET types, Al-Qaeda leader types, etc. But NYPD notes in their report, most of the same indicators and signatures that were common among the 5 foreign plots were also common to the 3 U.S. plots. They compare the UK and U.S. plots. Generally, the plot members were male Muslims under the age of 35, local residents and citizens who came from varied ethnic backgrounds. Many, but not all, were the children of immigrants from the Middle East or South Asia, the second generation in the U.S. Significant proportions came from middle-class backgrounds. None were economically destitute. Most had some form of higher education, at least high school graduates, if not university students. That's Abu Ali. And the study took the stages of radicalization in the post, and I'm going to send back a Word file with all the posts for you to post on your site. You can walk through his life and see where he went through the stages of radicalization all the way to attempted militant action. And this is the problem. To be a little precise with your description, the Saudi government doesn't use ISA as a basis, as an incubator for homegrown radicalization, but it is an incubator. And the Saudi government bought the books and still buys the books, and the Saudi government does nothing about it. So they allow it, they enable it, they condone it, they fund it, they run it. It's a wholly owned subsidiary in the corporate records of the Saudi embassy. Who are the 2 people most responsible for this, 2 Americans, who should be held accountable? One is Secretary of State Rice. There's no reason why an official U.S. government commission on international religious freedom that 2 reports from that commission in 3 years should be so blatantly ignored. And the second person is Jerry Connolly, the chairman of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, who was wimped out repeatedly on this issue and fails to exercise what I must believe, don't know, but must believe must be the standard clause, either explicitly or by reference, in that lease that allows them to terminate that lease at any point. They've never addressed that point. So that's where we stand with the Islamic Saudi Academy.